vlog 314. Does that make this the pie of vlogs? I'm not sure. Anyway, I was told there'd be no math. A break-even session last time. I am going to guarantee that will not be the case this time. By the way, before we do anything else, let's do an update on the dog. Let's do Dog Corner. Josie, almost 6 months old now. Anna and I brought her in back in March, and she's growing quick. I don't know how big she's going to get as a mini golden doodle, but we shall see. After a lengthy wait, I would finally get into the game on table 1, playing 5-10 at 1 p.m. I'd start off losing $30 set mining with pocket sixes, but I would get it back 3-betting ace-king and not getting called by anyone. About a half an hour later, I would look down at ace-king again. I'm under the gun and raise it to 35. I get 3 callers. With 145 in, the flop is king, queen, jack, rainbow, and it gets checked to me. Obviously, this flop presents the possibility of getting in trouble, but needless to say, it is still a bet you have to make. I put in 75. And all 3 of these guys toss their hands into the muck. I opened $30 under the gun with king-queen offsuit. Button calls. Big blind calls. So with 90 in, I swing and miss on the flop and check. The button checks back and I turn a king. Big blind now leads out for 30 here. I make this call with top pair, and the button makes the call as well. So with 180 in, the river is a black 5, and the big blind checks. Now my goal here was to bet and hopefully get paid off by both of these guys. But I had to bet small to get paid off by worse, so I just bet 40. The button snap folds, but the big blind says that he will call, creating a $260 pot. I show my hand and win against his ace 5 of hearts, which rivered the pair, thankfully not the flush. I'd play a bomb pot, trying not to be a nit and sit them all out, though I'd wish I had, as I'd make a pair of deuces on both boards, improving to trips on one of them, and of course I would lose to a flush on the board in which I had trips, and not shockingly to a bigger pair on the board where I just had the pair, so my dislike of bomb pots isn't really changing at this point. So I went from being up a couple hundred to being down a couple hundred about an hour into the session. Then middle position opens to 35 and the low jack calls. I have jacks in the hijack and 3-bet him to 135. Middle position is a guy from out of town that I couldn't quite get a read on at the time, but after playing with him for most of the day, I would learn this guy is a complete and utter grinder. So I had to assume that a 4-bet from him would be a very strong hand in this spot. He tries to sell the idea that he's torn about doing anything here, before asking the dealer to give him the black button as the way of announcing that he's all in. Slick would be proud of that move, had he been here. So it's about a $500 raise for me at this point, having lost a couple of small pots before this hand. Low jack folds, and I really just think that a 4-bet here is going to be aces, kings, queens, or ace-king. So where does that leave me? Obviously not good at all. I muck the jacks and get shown ace-king of spades. So I fold the best hand, but obviously it was a flip. This is a mid-session update. I am already looking ahead towards hockey season, as my Vegas Golden Knights have acquired Mitch Marner. I am fired up. They could only do this because one of their all-time greats, Alex Pietrangelo, can apparently no longer play. And that's how come they were able to afford Marner's salary. That's enough hockey. Let's go back to poker. I add on 1,000, and then we get a limp, with the same player raising to 35 on the button. Small blind calls, and I have 5-7 of diamonds in the big blind, and come in as well as the limper. So with 140 in, the flop is king 10-4 with 2 diamonds, giving me a flush draw. I check, button bets 40, and the small blind folds. I make this call with my draw, obviously here, and the other guy makes the fold. So we are heads up with 220 in to the turn, which comes the ace of diamonds, giving me the flush. I bet right out with it for 75. And the button doesn't waste a second before he makes the call. So with 370 in, the river is the queen of hearts. Once again, I'm going to bet. I make it double what I made on the previous street, putting in 150. And to my surprise, he does not call me here, but rather he min raises to 300. Now, I cannot fold the flush for that, especially on a board where there's now a one-liner to Broadway. There's definitely arguments to be made for both. I would feel better about either option if I actually knew this guy, as well as I would ultimately know him by the end of the day. But at this point, I wasn't 100% sure what to expect out of him, so I just make this call. And he shows Queen Jack, so not the river he was looking for, but I guess one that could have potentially saved him a little bit of money. Hard to know exactly how he was going to play this hand, but it was the first decent-sized pot that I would win on the day. I do respect the value raise, though, on the river. You don't normally see it. Hijack raises to 40. I'm in the big blind with ace-queen offsuit. I want to play this hand after the flop in this particular spot, let's just put it that way, so I make the call. With 85 in, the flop is king 10-6 with 2 hearts, and I check. My opponent checks this back, and I turn the queen of hearts. So with now second pair top kicker, I bet out for 40. He clearly doesn't love it, but would call anyway. And the river is the 10 of clubs, which seemed like a pretty safe card for me to continue to value bet and get paid off by weaker queens in this spot. I make it 50. He snap calls, creating a $265 pot, and he would win with 10-7 of diamonds. Didn't see that one coming. A hand we know in these parts as the Sammy Special. All right, let's do comp corner, see how I'm doing. Been spending more than I've been taking in the last couple of months. 336. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be. Also, I can assure you that I recorded the open to this video where I mentioned pie before I knew this, but they are actually giving away pies on this day at the Peppermill to those who play 3 hours of poker and I'm not sure how many hours of everything else. And I find that to be one hell of a coincidence. Under the gun 1 raises to 35. I have ace-king in middle position and 3-bet to 125. Folds around to the big blind. And he 4-bets to 365. Middle position folds. And it's back on me. Apparently I'm not doing too well in 3-bet pots on this particular day. I fold the hand, not expecting to get a look at what he had, but I would get a look. He shows pocket kings. We'd get another double board scenario, and one player would scoop a big pot. And that player happens to be nicknamed Bomb Pot Blue. We'd get a pair of limps, and I have queen 10 of hearts in the cutoff and make the incredibly sophisticated play of over-limping, based on the tendency of one of these guys to limp raise. Instead, an aggressive opponent in the big blind makes it 70, and under the gun 1 with limp call. So I do as well. And with 225 in, the flop is 10-8 deuce rainbow with 1 heart, and both the big blind and +1 would check it over to me. Top pair here, good kicker, I'm going to bet I make it 80. Big blind, check calls, and under the gun 1, check folds. So with 385 in the pot, the turn is an offsuit 9. He checks again. This is a good card for me. I add some more equity just in case he has a better kicker. I bet 150. And once again, he isn't going anywhere. So with 685 in, the river is another 9. And he checks. I would proceed to make a play here that must be indicative of me having a very bad year. I check this back, fearing the check raise. He says he just has an 8, and I would turn my hand over and collect the chips. I think he would have considered it had I bet another 175 on the river. A play I should have made, but found a way not to. Still, it felt good knowing that I was stuck significantly early and was able to rally back and book a small win. All right, it is about 7 o'clock, wrapping up the session and booking a win of $316 on a day where the game really wasn't that great. Kind of grinder heavy. If I had sat out all of the bomb pots, I would have booked probably an $800 win. I need to get myself to do that. Temptation, I guess, is sucking me in. I'm not proud of it. but it happened. One would think I'm due to actually run decent in a bomb pot, but, you know, one would think a lot of things. A look at some of the fireworks that took place this 4th of July here in Reno. You can see those ones next to the Grand Sierra Resort. Shout out to Rena, now working in the poker room over there. Maybe they'll get a game there at some point I can jump in, but usually it's only 1-2, at least what I've seen. Let's get to Daniel Negreanu, soul reading Reno Grinder. Before we do that, go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons if you're new to this channel. Most every week you're going to get fresh cash game poker content here. So if that's what you're into, definitely this is a channel for you. If you've watched this vlog dating back to 2018 when we started out, we have some characters. These are not famous poker players, obviously, but they're people that are known around here. Obviously, none getting more time than Kayla, and we'll get her back on soon. Obviously, my boy Bugsy, and a number of others that you've heard me talk about. One of them is Reno Grinder. His actual name is Adam Bishop, but he has just become known by the name Reno Grinder, given the fact that that's his handle on social media. And he is indeed that. I don't know how long he's lived in Reno now. He's originally from the Bay Area, but he is indeed a grinder. There is no question about that. He is the epitome of a grinder. And also a guy that happened to buy Bitcoin at the right time, so shout out to him for that. On the last vlog, I showed you this. Now, I know that if you watch this vlog, there's probably a 90% chance you also watch Daniel Negreanu's vlog. But just in case, I just found it funny. What ended up happening, Reno Grinder jumps into the main event, something he's done on a number of occasions, and he ends up at Negreanu's table, and I was amazed at just how much airtime Reno Grinder ended up getting, starting with this.
This is just a degen. He wants everyone to know. So far, he hasn't been degenning yet, but we'll see, maybe.
He might be wearing a shirt that says degen, but Negreanu absolutely spot on with that read. Not a degen in any sense. Then the hoodie comes out, and what I showed you, Negreanu shows everyone else.
Could you show the people at home, you know, this hoodie that you have? I love it. Can you show people exactly what it does and how cool it is? Okay, now he's just turned into a shark. Let's give it a little full 360. What else we got out there on the back? Okay, so when he's all in, if he does this, it makes him a little more difficult to read.
Now, there might have even been some more of him that I missed, but fast forward a little bit later on in the video, you get Daniel kind of breaking down the opponents at the table. And when he gets to Adam, well, he absolutely nails it.
Adam Bishop, you know, he talked about spaces. He's a guy, too, that I think he doesn't want to go broke, right? He's going to play pretty passively in certain spots, you know, with big hands. He's a guy that he does not want to go to broke on day one. I think he bragged about not going, or he keeps track of how often he goes broke on day one, which is, who cares, right?
Look, I know the last time I mentioned Daniel Negreanu probably on this vlog was when I kind of ripped him for having a freezing cold take about the Vegas Golden Knights. The 1 year in their 8-year history they missed the playoffs, did so by a single point, and he went on full tilt saying that he was done with the team until they fired the general manager. That general manager has put together a Stanley Cup winning team since then and created a team that's now going to be even better going forward with Mitch Marner. That take continues to age horribly by him. So I don't know where he gets his sports knowledge sometimes, but when it comes to poker, he's still one of the greatest. That read on Reno Grinder could not be more accurate. That is exactly right. And you're going to find guys like that. They do not want to go out in level 1. Can't blame them. Some guys play it differently. Some guys are playing to win. They want to either double up or go out on level 1. Some guys are going to absolutely just grind it out. And that is what you're going to see out of Reno Grinder. So I thought this whole thing was done with Daniel Negreanu and Adam Bishop. But since he's on Negreanu's table, and the way that it works in the main event is they don't just like go around and cherry pick people to put on the feature table. They have to take an entire table that's already been kind of randomly selected and then locate the entire table over to the TV table. And because Negreanu's on it, his table is going to get picked a lot naturally. So all of a sudden, there's Reno Grinder on the featured table. And and I didn't think that Negreanu would necessarily want to keep getting into it with him. But he does.
Play some hands, man. You called me with 4-5 offsuit before the TP, and now you're folding 7-5. Please explain to the viewers. Huh?
Strategy.
You got fans at home, you don't want to know you play those hands?
It's a slick strategy.
Let me just say, if he knew he wasn't on TV, I'm pretty sure that Reno Grinder would have had a much different response than just saying strategy to that question, but maybe I'm wrong. I texted him right after seeing this, and I asked him how many chips he had. He said 71,000 going into day 2, which is taking place on Sunday, July 5th. So we'll have to get an update on him going into next week, see if he can make a run in this main event after this interesting Negreanu feature table experience that he had. According to Adam, Negreanu did crack his aces and won a big hand off of him. Not exactly sure how that one would have played out, but maybe we'll hear more about that coming up later on as well. So kind of some cool stuff when this vlog and Negreanu's vlog kind of cross paths in kind of a weird way through Reno Grinder in this particular instance. That'll wrap it up for us on vlog 314. We'll see you back here next time.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm